Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I actually just woke up from a nap and I was thinking, I know what I feel like talking about today. Racism. All jokes aside, this is a video that has been requested of me probably more than anything. What's it like being a black girl in Korea? Are they racist? You know, tell us everything. What can I expect? And I have just been putting it off and putting it off and putting it off because talking about racism honestly is kind of draining. But some of you are actually watching my channel because you're gonna come to Korea, so I figured, you know what, let me just suck it up and have a candid conversation. So I've seen this topic like a lot. It comes up with basically anyone who goes to Korea who isn't Korean, and everyone's like idea of what racism is or what discrimination and prejudice is quite different because everyone has different levels of what's tolerable. So I think that it's important to note that obviously my experience isn't going to be universal. Someone else's experience is probably going to be different to mine and vice versa, but that doesn't mean like my experience invalidates anyone else's experience, you know? So someone could come here and say, oh, I've never had any issues with anyone ever, and that doesn't necessarily mean because I've had some issues that they're lying. It's just, you know, obviously it depends on who you are, where you go, what friends you have. It's so many different factors. But for me personally, as like a foreigner who's moved to Korea, not just for a vacation, I would say like my experience has been pretty wild. Okay, so this video is probably gonna come off ranty, but you need to understand that this is a year and 8 months worth of like pent up stuff. And honestly, like, I'm probably not as bothered as I seem, but you know, when you start talking about something and you remember like the audacity and you're like, oh, how dare they do that to me? So I just want to, you know, asterisk, disclaimer, you know, this isn't going to be a chill video. Normally I'm so chill and composed, but you know, today we're talking about something that really gets under my skin. Like I said, talking about racism and discrimination is so jarring, but let's just let it all out. This is going to be therapeutic for me. So anyways, Korea is like such a homogenous country. I think like 97 or 8% of people in Korea are Korean, and then there's like a little tiny minority of foreigners, and then most of those foreigners are actually from Southeast Asia. So I'm the minority of the minority. However, I'm not saying that to excuse anything. It is just something that I think it's important to be aware of, especially if you're thinking of coming here for any extended period of time. You have to know the demographics of where you're going, because that's going to give you an idea of what you can kind of expect. I guess I'm going to start with like the things that kind of happen on a daily basis. And the biggest thing is like the staring. I honestly, I've made so many excuses for it, and like I always say, it's not that bad, I expected it. But you know, a year and 8 months in, it's kind of jarring. Like, I've lived in the same apartment, I live in the same small town, go to the same grocery store, so it's kind of annoying when people see you, like you've changed your hair or something, and they're like staring at you. Like today, I wore my natural hair out because it's hot, and like people who have seen me every single day for the past year and 8 months are like, and I don't know if it's a cultural thing, like Koreans stare a lot, and I don't know if it's not considered rude or they just don't give a fuck, but it makes me mad uncomfortable. I'm not gonna lie. Some days I don't really care, and then other days I'm like, please, I just want to get like my food and then go back to my apartment. I just don't want people staring at me. I'm trying to eat my ice cream in peace. Please leave me alone. Can you be my la 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 la? Can you be my la la la? I think staring is just like, in terms of like what bothers me, it's probably really, really low down on the list. Would I prefer that people didn't stare at me? Yeah, but will I die? No. I think what really annoys me is when it goes past staring and it it goes into touching. I have an issue with being touched unexpectedly by anyone. I don't like, let me take a deep breath because I'm getting heated. I don't like being touched. So when someone just randomly comes up to me and they're like, oh, I just want to, you know, or I just want to, I like, honestly, there's been times where I'm like, let me just take a deep breath and walk away because I don't want to end up in whatever. I don't want to know what inside of a Korean prison cell looks like, but I don't like being touched. And I have had incidences where people have come up to me and violated my personal space, and so I've had to kind of adopt like a resting bitch face when I'm walking around, just so people know, like, don't touch me. I had a boy in one of my schools who was intent on licking me, because he was convinced that my skin was gonna taste like chocolate. And the teacher who I was teaching with, she was just like, ah! And I was like, yo, get your boy.
Yo, Zan, get your boy, dog.
Because honestly, like, it's not cute, it's not funny. Why would you think it's okay to lick someone? And why would like any adult encourage that? It's so funny, he's so cute. There's nothing cute about it. I'm a human being. I don't want to be licked by your dusty kids. Don't lick me. I just saw you put your booger in your mouth and you want to lick my skin? No, I don't taste like chocolate. What are you doing? It's so annoying. So many things like that would happen. And like, I think at first nobody really knew how to handle it, and I'd be getting super upset, and then eventually I had to be like, yeah, no, I don't find this cute, this isn't fun, I'm not an animal. Like, and I guess after having that, like, after vocalizing like, yo, this isn't funny, get your boy, then it kind of was like, oh, this isn't funny, we need to do something about this. And ever since then it hasn't happened. But it was just that simple fact that like, nobody thought to like have a conversation with this little boy and be like, you know, you can't just lick people, especially women. It's weird. I was standing with my friend one day at the bus terminal. She had come to visit me, and she's another black girl, and she had like braids in, which I still need to find out where she got them done because they look fly. And some old Korean lady had come up to us, and she'd basically just started running her hands down it, and then kind of looked disgusted and just let it go. And I was with, like, it was me, my black friend, and then my white American friend, and till this day she is not over it. Like, honestly, and the thing is, what's really sad is that me and my friend are both from, like, you know, she's from Ireland and I'm from the UK, so we're kind of used to like those stupid microaggressions, but like, it was still like, don't touch me. I absolutely hate being touched. And that was an occasion where I wasn't even touched and I was like heated. I wanted to fight. Why would you do that? That's mad weird. And Koreans do that stuff all the time. Like, it isn't just old people, or like, it's even kids. I'm like, where's your home training? What's your problem? What's wrong with you? That's mad weird. Like, it just never occurred to anyone that this was completely problematic. And I think that's the thing about Koreans, is like, they can be super, super ignorant. Like, they know what they don't like. So when they go abroad and they face racism and their country faces stereotypes and stuff, they know it's not nice. But then when other foreigners come here, they have all these stereotypes and they just act like, I just don't understand. Like, it's mad jarring, because that's called willful ignorance. Like, you know, stuff like that really annoys me, because like, a Korean will go abroad. Like, I've had friends who have gone abroad and they'll come back and they'll say, oh my god, I was so annoyed because these people like made this like gesture at me, or like they, you know, they like put their fingers, I'm not gonna do it because it's offensive, but like they were trying to do slanted eyes and it's mad rude. And I'm like, yeah, but then like, you guys do blackface, so
if you know you don't like it, why do you do it?
It's not clicking. What's not clicking?
So it's just stuff like that. I'm just like, people are like, oh, but they don't know. They do know. Like, come on, everybody knows, like, in 2019 what the fuck is rude and what is problematic and what isn't. But, you know, whatever. And all this like stuff, like, oh, the older people and younger kids don't know. But it isn't just like those two groups of people. In general, people make stupid comments. Another thing that like I wasn't really prepared for is like stupid comments. You know when you have friends who are Korean but they have like a lot of foreigner friends, you expect that they just have a certain amount of knowledge, but sometimes my friends remind me like, okay, y'all are really ignorant. Like, you've got the fastest internet speed I've ever experienced in my life, and yet you haven't accessed Google. It's very strange. I've had stupid comments basically where, you know when you have to hold your tongue because you ain't trying to ruin your friendship, but at the same time you're like, please. Like, I remember, I don't know, I can't even remember why, but we were watching like Lion King, and my friend, it was like the beginning of the movie, you know, when they like start singing. My friend was like, hey Rashida, can you translate this? And I was like, no. It's weird to me, like, you could be friends with someone, they know that I'm from London, England, they know that my heritage is Nigerian, Jamaican and Bajan, so why would they ask me to translate a language that they know I don't speak? It's weird, like, but it's Africa. Yeah, but like, and I looked at him like, are you serious? Is this like, are you jesting? Are you serious? And like, at least he had the decency to be embarrassed, but like, why would you? Is that a headache I feel? You know, when you don't want to have to cuss out your friends because you love them, you know, but at the same time you're like, what kind of stupid ass question? Imagine you went to England and someone was playing something in Japanese, some anime or something, and then like, oh, like I'm playing Bleach and I'm like, yo, can you translate this? It's fucking Japanese, it's not even the same language. Like, why would I ask you that? I just thought because you're Asian. Like, what the fuck do you think this is? Anyway, I expect like stupid questions from like my elementary school students, like, because they're so young. But it's really weird to me, like, when adults, especially adults who I don't know that well, are like, so what's your house like? Is it a hut? Is it made of mud and sticks? Do you have a lion? It's like,
In London? In Lewisham? In Catford? You might own a lion? Are you serious right now?
Jesus, be an ounce of common sense. No, but seriously, yeah, you do get questions like that. And you have to have a bit of a sense of humor, and luckily I'm British, so the sarcasm kicks in. The funniest thing is like the idea that all black people should know, like, or be attracted to each other. That's mad funny. I had a friend who approached me once. She was so excited. She was like, I have the best idea, you know. At this time I was like going through like a phase where I'd been here for long enough, and I was like, I'm lonely and it's cuffing season, so I was like complaining. And then one day my friend was super excited. She was like, I have the best idea, I should have the best idea. And I was like, oh my god, what? She's like, I set you up my friend. I was like, oh. And I was like, okay, tell me about this friend. She goes, well, he's black, it's your type, right? You guys, I don't have any further comment on it, yeah? I actually don't. I have no more to say. FYI, if you are one of the friends in one of these stories, then don't be too offended. I still love you, but you made a stupid comment, and I guess you're just gonna have to own it. Sorry, not sorry. I think that's a good segue into dating in Korea, although it's probably going to be short because I haven't done much. Anyone who actually knows me IRL knows, like, men and we have a strenuous relationship, so there's that. I did not come here today. I was like super adamant when I got here, and everyone was like, you're gonna have your K-drama experience, and I was like, no girl, I'm gonna get money and pay off my debt. But obviously it's been more than a year. It's gonna be 2 years soon, so I've had a few experiences. Most of them have been fine, but the one thing I would say is, like, stay away from apps. They're a cesspit of, like, I just think if you're a girl and you're coming to Korea, like, I would say it's relatively safe. I've never had like a physical like a feeling of being physically threatened. But in the dating scene, I'm just super cautious. Obviously not everyone is like that. I've been on some really nice dates, but I don't know, man, you just have to be extremely, even more careful than you would be at home. I've had guys who have said to me, like, is it true that black girls have a higher sex drive? And I'm like, first of all, bitch, what's wrong with you? Who asked those questions? And secondly, do you know what? I don't even have a secondly. Just, what's wrong with you? Citation needed. Like, where do these ideas come from? And I'm gonna be honest here, it isn't just a black thing. Like, Koreans also have like this fetish for white women too. You know, I think they call it like riding the white horse. So, you know, you just gotta be, I think it's a Western thing. They just think we're more open about sex and stuff, so they can just bring it up. But yeah. Yeah. There's like negative stereotypes here, and then there's the like less negative ones. So there's like the whole like you're gonna steal, or you're lazy, or you live in a hut, you're poor, you're disgusting, you're dirty, and you don't bathe. And then there's like you're like a big sister and you're automatically cool, and do you know hip hop? Can you beatbox? Yeah. And both of those piss me off. You know, some people are like, yeah, it's fine. It's not fine. And it is racism. I'm sorry. Like, I'm sorry. Microaggressions are part of racism. It's racism. But, you know, some racism is easier to deal with than others. I think as black people in general, we just know wherever we go, there's going to be some dusty ass, stupid ass, you know, head ass person trying to put something on us because we're black. So we just decide what we can tolerate. So I guess I can tolerate some things and not others, but it is all racism. It's ignorance, and ignorance, again, I'm not gonna just, oh, it's only ignorance. It's racism. Your ignorance is causing you to be racist, and I'm not gonna make excuses for you. But in terms of the ones that I've personally experienced, I've actually been called a nigger. That was the one that really got to me, and I almost left Korea because I was really upset. This day was like almost a year ago now. I was walking home from school. It was one of those days where we were lucky enough to be let out of school early. It was like a nice spring day, and I'm walking home and I can hear like these like, there's a middle school right next to my school, and I can hear these middle school boys like shouting, hey bro, hey bro, hey bro. And, you know, obviously I didn't think they were talking to me because, one, I'm not your bro, and two, like, they're kids, so I thought, oh, they're just, like, playing around with each other. But they kept shouting it, and then I heard, hey, nigger! And I actually stopped, and I looked up to the window, and there they were, and they said it again, hey, nigger, what's up, nigger? I actually didn't know how to process it, so I just carried on walking because I was like, the best thing for me to do is remove myself from this situation, because the last thing I want to happen right now is I get done for absolutely slapping the fuck out of some middle schoolers. I was pissed. So I walked home. It's a 10-minute walk home from like basically my school to my house. I got home really quickly. I was really upset. I didn't know what to do. So I actually called a colleague of mine and I told him, yeah, this just happened and this is how I feel and I don't know what to do about it, but you know, it isn't pleasant. And I was actually really pleasantly surprised at the swift response. It was basically taken like straight to the vice principal of my school and the principal, who then contacted the principal at that school, and it was dealt with that way. And the thing that made me the most surprised was like nobody tried to make any excuses for these kids at all. You know, I was expecting to hear, well, hip hop culture, blah blah, but it was just like, this isn't okay and you can't treat our stuff like this. It was handled really well and professionally, and actually like my colleagues were really like concerned, how are you feeling? You know, I guess like because I'd been here for quite a long time at that point, you know, I think it took a while for people to get the program that, you know, things that you can and cannot say, can and cannot do, and I think at this point it had clicked finally, so they kind of understood. And I honestly for a few weeks felt like going home. Like I felt like going back to England. I used to live in a predominantly black area, and I just felt like, you know what, I want to go home and I want to be around people who look like me. And woo, what is that? Is that a tear? Nah man, big men don't cry. What the fuck? I'm not soft. But yeah, I just felt like going home, honestly. There should be no racism anywhere, and it's exhausting, but you know, we're gonna keep talking about these things until people just eradicate their own ignorance. But yeah, it's what it is. I mean, I guess to say what is it, to give you like a nice little neat answer of what it's like to live in Korea as a black girl, overall it's fantastic. Like, obviously I've been here for like nearly 2 years, so I'm obviously having a good enough time, but you know, every now and then there are these like little spaced out incidents where you're like, what the fuck is that? And it's definitely more bearable to me than it was when I was in the UK. I actually found myself really depressed in the UK because the constant microaggressions, not being able to progress in your job, etc, etc. Whereas here I'm just like, it's just stuff that doesn't really, like, you can just brush it off, but it's still not okay. I think I'm going to end this video here. I think there's definitely like more to be explored and more to say, but I think they can be broken down into other videos. There's things like the beauty industry, makeup and hair and stuff to talk about, but I think I'll do another video about that later on. I just think this is a general like overarching experience of what it's been like for me as a black girl in Korea. To end this video on like a positive note, I want to talk about one particular experience I had in February last year when I was teaching my first winter camp, and it was all about going around the world, traveling around the world. I wanted to encourage my students to have dreams to travel and see the world, and we did like 5 different countries. Every day we did a new country. We had mini passports and stuff, and we wrote about experiences. And one of the countries I taught them about is Jamaica, because I am part Jamaican, so I wanted to talk to them a little bit about my culture. And that was during the Winter Olympics, and Jamaica was going to be part of it. And we had done like a little segment on cool runnings, you know. And I remember my students had come up to me and they said to me that they have decided to support Jamaica because they know that I'm here alone and I don't have any family with me. So they want to support Jamaica with me, even though they're Korean. And that was like a moment where I was like, you know, as much as it's really easy to get frustrated and understandable to be frustrated, and it's annoying to also have to be the person who has to educate people on how to treat you as a human, that all is not lost. I do believe that humans have an innate desire to be good, and sometimes all they need is a little bit of education or a push. And it's really nice to know that my students are going to grow up, and the next time they meet someone who looks different to them, doesn't have to be a black person, it just be someone who has a darker skin tone or someone from another country, they'll think before jumping to conclusions. They'll ask how someone likes to be treated, and that makes all the difference to me. So I mean, yes, living in a homogenous country as a black girl isn't always easy, but would I trade this experience for anything? No. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that if you are one of the people who have DM'd me and said you're going to move to Korea, that this video helps you in some way. If you want any more questions answered, comment down below, follow me on Instagram and ask me anything in the DMs. And what do I normally say? Oh yeah, see you next time. Bye.